Welcome back to Crossroads Live. My name is Jim, and I have the honor, 2 years in a row, sitting next to this wonderful lady, my friend, Roberta Shore. Welcome back to Oklahoma.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
And today I had the honor of meeting one of my favorite cowboy singers in the world, Mr. Randy Boone.
Shucks. Thank you, Jim.
I'm going to ask you a question, Randy. It's been on my mind to ask this to you. I read somewhere that you were related to Richard Boone.
Richard Boone and I worked on an episode of Cimarron Strip, and we talked about that. And he heard my he said, you know, go on where you say your grandpa's from. And he said, you just might be kin to Daniel Boone. And he said he knew that he was. He had paperwork and old Bibles and everything that proved his ancestry.
Yeah, he sort of had a history of the family there.
Yeah, my grandmother on the Boone side, she just said, we don't have to be kin to Daniel Boone for this to be an upstanding all-American family.
What about Pat?
Well, I just don't know. You know, I don't know.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I met Pat Boone once. Back when he was making that movie with Ann Margaret, State Fair.
State Fair.
Yeah, I met him, and believe it or not, you know, Bob's Big Boy. Bob's Big Boy.
The hot hamburgers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I met it was Kip's, called Kip's here in Dallas.
Oh, all right.
It was a franchise, and he and his wife Shirley came in and sat down at the counter, and I did the dumbest thing in the world. I walked out. Are you Pat Boone? Oh. Who else would you be, right? Anyway, that ain't my idea. Someone sent this clip on Facebook yesterday of you on American Bandstand with Dick Clark. And what were you, about 16, 17?
About that, yeah. 17, I think, because it was after we did the movie Because They're Young. So,
and you came out, and I got tickled at Dick Clark, who I admired because I thought he was one of the great broadcasters. And I got tickled at him because he was showing photographs of everyone in the movie. And he'd go, well, you're going to like this guy. And then he'd go, now you're not going to like her because she's not too nice.
Oh.
And then you're not going to like this one. Have you seen that clip?
I haven't.
God, I'll show it to you if you want to see it.
I haven't seen it.
And it was so funny. And then he said, you're going to like this young lady. And he introduced you, and you came out, and you sang that song for what was it? Love at First Sight.
Love at First Sight.
Love at First Sight.
Yeah, I remember I mouthed to my record. Well, they didn't have any orchestra, so we just had to mouth it.
Well, I understood they did that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the early days, they had, just like you said, they didn't have the orchestration or anything like that, so we would mime along with
the record. Because I heard an interview. It wasn't my interview, but I heard an interview with Neil Diamond, and he talked about being on American Bandstand and having the mouth. And he said, I never did get the art of that.
Well, you know, I did a lot of Lawrence Welk shows, and most of the songs on that show were pre-recorded. And then they would give us a disc, and we would go in our dressing room and go over and over and over
till you get it right.
Till we got it right,
Yeah. But tell me about the movie. You remember the movie? I mean, I know it was a long time ago.
Because They're Young. Oh, yeah. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Because They're Young. Oh, that was so fun. I remember Victoria Shaw was in that, and of course Dick Clark. And then and of course I got my first screen kiss from Doug McClure in that.
Oh my God.
And James Darren sang the theme song. who was that guitar player? Eddie.
Eddie Arnold? No, he was
no.
a singer.
I'll think of it in a second. But we get old, we forget everything. But let's see.
I wouldn't know about getting older.
But Warren Berlinger was in that movie. He was one of my all-time favorite people. But did I mention Tootsie Weld? Tootsie Weld was in that.
Oh, Tootsie Weld? Yeah, he did mention Tootsie Weld.
It was fun. It was a fun show. I wish I could think of that guitar player because he was really big at that time.
Yeah.
And I guess James Darren was in the movie. I did not know that, but he did sing the theme song that became a hit record, Because They're Young. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I was very young. It was before I did the Virginian.
Before the Virginian.
And then Doug went on to do Checkmate and then did the Virginian.
Weren't you in the Mickey Mouse Club at one time?
I did a lot of Mouseketeer stuff. I wasn't a Mouseketeer. I was too tall to be a Mouseketeer. But I did tons of Disney stuff before
What was your first television show?
It was, nothing. Well, it would be the series that I did called It's a Man's World.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that,
yes.
Let me ask you, I may be wrong on this, but was that with Glenn Corbin? Was he?
Yes, right.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
he was in.
Let's see, Michael Burns, I think,
Michael
he
Burns.
played the little
I
boy,
remember him, yeah.
and Ted Bessel played the other character.
Ted Bessel. Oh my gosh, what happened to all
that
those
girl,
guys?
He was on that.
Yes,
that
that was the big series he did later.
Well, the reason, because my buddy, you know Dean Redding. Dean Redding? The young man that was sitting right there.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know his name.
The better-looking part of his feet.
Oh, okay. We know
ask
him
him,
for
just
sure.
ask him. But no, because I was going to say about what's it called? What was it? I just said his name. Here I go. On Man's World.
Ted Bessel?
Ted Bessel
The other guy.
or Glenn Corbett.
Glenn Corbin.
Okay.
He went on to
He
do...
worked with Glenn Corbin.
Yeah.
His first television show, Route 66.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was on. We were trying to remember what he did.
He was on Route 66, and he worked with him. And he's always telling me, reminding me about that.
Yeah.
And I was on Route 66. I said, so was I. I was just an extra.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I was an extra on Route 66.
He was such a nice man. I only had one scene, believe it or not, with him on the Virginian.
Really?
When I married him, and he came in that day. We shook hands, introduced ourselves.
And y'all getting married?
Yeah, we got married. So
Oh my
it was
God.
kind of fast.
Well, the thing about it was, when I worked on it, it was I was doing a play at Theater 3 in Dallas called The Zoo Story. Edward Albee, he was a writer. He wrote,
Yeah, I know who Edward Albee is.
Well, he wrote a play called The Zoo Story. It was a one-act play. I was in the play, and this guy came in, and they were looking for people, extras and stuff, for an episode of Route 66. And he was watching the play, the rehearsal, and he came over to me after and said, would you like to be an extra? And yeah, sure. I get to meet George and Marty Miller. Yeah, you bet. And so I went over the first day I was there. George Maharis walks up to me and he goes, I understand you're doing the Zoo Story. I said, yes, sir. He says, what part are you playing? I said, the part of Jerry. He goes, remember, whatever you do with it, I did it first.
Oh.
And found out he did it off Broadway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so that was sort of like my joke on me, that, oh my God, I better not mess this up. But anyway, so movies. How many movies have you actually been in?
Let me think. I did Shaggy Dog, The Young Savages, Because They're Young, Blue Denim. I think 4.
4.
Yeah. 4.
4 movies, and the rest was television.
The rest was television.
But
Mostly
I've
television.
got something I want to throw at you. Watch this. I heard a little rumor that you were a disc jockey.
No.
You were on the
That was
radio.
the wrong. No, I was not. I don't know. Whoever wrote that biography did not talk to me first.
They didn't.
Because I've
Well,
never.
let's set the record straight.
Yeah, no, I've never been a disc jockey.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, listen, I'm getting a signal that you guys got to
Oh.
be somewhere. So I want to take the time to thank you, sir,
Oh.
for being with us.
Oh, thank you.
my
So
friend.
nice to see you.
It's always good seeing
See
you.
you.
And it's
And,
always great. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, Jim, there's 3 ways to tell when you're getting old. One, you start losing your memory, and I can't remember what the other two are.
Very good. Thank you. We're going to say good night. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Well, hey, I think I'll sing a song called Cowboys Are My Weakness, because after all, it's Christmas time, right? And the best present of all is to have a cowboy kiss your hand or something fun like that. I'm not looking at you. Well, you'll never hear me knocking an old pair of boots. A man who wears his Wranglers for a Sunday suit. The kind that ain't afraid to get some dirt on his hands. Bring your fresh daisies in a coffee can. I like a man to drive me around, pick up style. Tip his hat and wink at me, shoot me a smile. Take me two-stepping at the honky-tonk. That kind of man ain't hard to want, 'cause cowboys are my weakness.
I'm just singing now.
Living some down home, rugged sweetness, just a little bit outlaw and a little bit Jesus. Let me tell you, cowboys are my weakness. Well, I love to hear my name inside a Texas drawl. Man who takes the time to talk to me when I call. Might get a little rowdy, a little out of hand, but when he's around your mama, he says, yes, ma'am. He's a doer, not a talker. He's tried and he's true. Honey, he's the salt of the earth, but if he's sweet on you, well, he'll treat you like you're the only woman alive. Saddle by saddle, the only way to ride, 'cause cowboys are my weakness. Give me some down home, rugged sweetness, just a little bit outlaw and a whole lot of Jesus. Let me tell you, cowboys are my weakness.
I knew that too. I just didn't want to show you up.
All right. Welcome to Crossroads Live. We're on the road. We are in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Dean, what's the name of this great event we're at?
The Cowboy Way Mayfest.
Mayfest.
Right.
That's a good thing. You know,
Wait a
now
minute,
it's
wait a minute,
Mayfest.
wait a minute. You're all talking around me.
Yeah,
What?
we are.
No,
Who are you?
No, you're shutting me out. Here I am, Clark Gable, and
Who is
Oh,
this
we
guy?
wanted to introduce Clark Gable to y'all.
Right, okay.
And we were leading up to you, sir.
of course you were.
Of
course you were.
And
Right.
anyway, it's Mayfest.
It's lion devil, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
love this.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, do you want to start over?
No.
No.
Go ahead on.
Okay, we're
All
going to go on.
Please
Okay.
do.
Dean, why don't you introduce our guest?
Mr.
Yes.
L.Q. Jones.
Hold it for applause. Okay.
All right.
That has died
Great.
down now. Go ahead.
Now, L.Q., tell me something. Your real name is not L.Q. Jones. You took that from a film you were in. Is that correct?
I got that. I didn't actually take it. Warner's wanted to change the name, and as long as they made out the checks, I didn't care, you know. But yes, it is not my real name, and I try to hide it, but I don't. So you probably know what it is. So we'll keep it between ourselves.
Okay, that's fine.
He actually told me what it was. Now, how much you going to pay me not
you're
to tell?
You're a blabbermouth, for Christ's sake.
Just
Okay.
ask Gary Clark. He'll tell you.
Okay, go ahead on.
I wanted to ask you, how was it to work with Sam Peckinpah, who is a legendary director?
Sam was a nut. I mean, actually, he was crazy. And if you work with him, you were crazy. One time, you're crazy. I've made 13 pictures with him,
Wow.
so that ought to give you an idea where I am.
Okay.
Sam was, what do I say? If Sam were alive and working today, he'd be committed. And I say that respectfully. I'm not poking fun at him because a lot of us carry problems with the mind. Sam came up through the Marines. His family was heavy into law.
Yep.
One of his brothers was the Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court. His sister, Fern Lee, is the salt of the earth. There's nothing as good and as cute as Fern Lee. Sam just kind of got off the track. He wanted to do something, and kind of in my family, you could be a neighborhood rapist and they didn't care. But talk about being a showbiz, an actor, Christ, they didn't speak to me for 5 years because what I did. Sam was almost the same way. They couldn't adjust to that, and Sam was trying to work into our business, but he was also trying to please his family. It was very tough. So he was split every time he did something. But Sam was tough to work for because he knew what he wanted, and you couldn't give him anything else. He might not tell you what the reason was, and you might do 50 takes, but you were going to do it the way Sam wanted it, or you didn't do it at all, as far as the picture was concerned. So for my money, he was the last of the really good Western directors. We don't have any more.
That's correct.
Westerns are morality plays in the middle of violence, and it's hard to pull it off. He did, but I don't think anybody has done so since then. Have you seen any Western that you thought was really good lately?
Not lately, no.
No. The last one I thought was pretty good, to be honest, was Tombstone.
Yeah, it was a different kind of Western, and it was good. But you do have Westerns have got to be kind of alike, and so it's hard to keep doing it. It gets a little corny at times, but it fits a certain arc, and you have to fit it in there. And our business today doesn't like it anymore because Westerns don't make money. And let's be honest, making pictures is the art of making sausage. It's a business.
Yeah.
And you can't put $30-40 million into a loser, not of your money or mine. So it's going to take time for it to change. Is it too late? Will it ever come back to Westerns again? I don't know.
What do you think of? I'm just throwing this question at you. Open range.
When you mean
open range? I mean, did you
mean
like,
real open range?
No, the movie.
Oh, the movie. Have not seen it.
Have not seen it.
That's okay. They haven't seen some of mine, so
okay.
It comes out even.
Stroll, I know they want you over here for a little deal.
The sheriff has gotten me in hand, but go ahead.
Yeah,
okay.
But I wanted to ask you one quick question about you worked a lot with Strother Martin.
Strother Martin.
And what a character. They just don't make them like you anymore either.
No, Strother is...
He was something else.
Okay, let me ask you something about Strother you probably don't know.
Okay.
Do you realize that Strother went to the Olympics?
I did not know that.
As a diver.
I'll be darned.
He was the first alternate in 1 year's. And are we slowing up? Do you need to speed us up a bit to get to the end of it? To hell with that. To do it. Let's just go till we're ready. So they got other people they can deal with. Okay? All right, press on, Ben.
Press on.
So Stroder, how many pictures did you work with Stroder?
I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 12. You forget. We just worked together all the time. There were about 7 or 8 of us that did around 96% of the work in the business. Mm-hmm. And we worked together all the time. So I think my second or third picture was with Strother. And I started out, it's a picture called Target Zero. He gets injured in the first shot in the picture. And I carry him on my shoulder for the rest of the picture. I kept pointing his fanny towards the camera. My face and his fanny. And when they got through with the picture, they gave him an award, and it was called the Fanny. And Strother kept that for years, bless his heart. But I worked with him, and we didn't pay any attention. I don't know, 10, 12 times, like I said, there was nobody like Strother. Don't be tricked by the fact that he does weird things. Very talented man.
Oh, yes.
Very talented man, and could do anything and did it. So you look at him and you're tricked, thinking, he's foolish. but he was foolish with a purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Since they are calling for you, sir, we're going to wrap this little interview up, and we want to thank you very much for taking time to visit with us.
1 second.
We got a little more time, but she's going to go ahead and put someone in place of him so we can keep going.
Okay.
Press on.
You got
Press
it.
on. Go ahead. I know you got a question over there.
Yeah. The first season of Cheyenne with Clint Walker.
Yes, sir.
You were his sidekick on that first
No,
season.
the first season.
Was that correct?
He was my sidekick.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Actually, I was signed to do Cheyenne about 2 months before Clint was.
Uh-huh.
And then he came on, and we did the first 3 shows together. And then, very cleverly, to show you how stupid I am, I went in and told Warner's that they should take me out of the show because I thought it was a one-man show, being Clint. And I was right. I cost myself, $8 or $10 million, but that's okay. It was right. It was Clint's show, and he's marvelous in it, and he's a tremendous human being.
Well, I had the honor of meeting him and judging a gunfight at Fort Worth Stockyards years and years ago. And what a great, great guy.
Was Ben Cooper there?
Ben Cooper, I believe,
I think Ben won.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a number of years. What was it? He could draw and shoot at 5 targets, and I think it was, 1 plus second?
Yeah.
Was that? Am I within the ballpark?
I think you are.
I'm
not sure, but I think you are.
Ben he talked a blue streak, but he could damn sure pull that gun and use it. So, anyway,
I'm glad he wasn't mad at us.
So am I. You don't want to get tasty with him.
Yeah.
But he was also a good actor. So it was fun to work with me. We only worked, I think, once. But he's one of those people, just a natural, and it's fun to work with him.
What about, wasn't you in Lone Wolf McQuade?
Chuck was in Lone Wolf McQuade with me.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Right.
I'm sorry, I got it
it's
wrong.
too late now. Draw a line through his name on the contract, folks. Yeah, I did it, and it was great fun. I didn't think it was going to work. As a matter of fact, we were doing the reading for it first time we all got together, and I didn't know Chuck. And so I asked, or is this going to be a real picture, or is it one of the Chop Socky movies? That kind of got him on air, but we became good friends by the time the piece was over. And it's so much fun to watch a guy. He comes from a really tough background.
Yeah.
And it's great to see somebody who overcomes that and does real well. And Chuck has done very well.
Done pretty good for a boy from Oklahoma.
You bet. He's a good man, and it's fun to see him succeed.
Yeah.
And you worked on an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger with him.
I did 2, actually.
Well, I worked on one of them with you and Bob Hinkle and
R.G.
Armstrong.
Right. That was. We can tell it now because he's no longer with us. But I don't know whether you noticed or not, but R.G. was almost blind.
Oh.
I had to help him around the set because his eyesight was
Right,
failing
and
so bad.
I helped him on screen. If you notice, he's always with me. We're with arm's reach. I've always close to his horse so that we could guide him. That way no one realized that he was having trouble with his sight. And
What a great guy.
It really was, and he's a hell of an actor. But he just needed a little help. And so that's what we did, and it worked.
Stu Whitman was on that one.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuart Whitman was one of the Texas Rangers there.
Do what? You want to go to Zorro? Did you have a question?
You were in Zorro?
What do you mean, was I in Zorro?
Were you in Zorro?
I was Three-Fingered Jack. In Zorro. It's a marvelous piece. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
So
now I know what to rent.
She's seen it. She's waving her hand. Well, just 10 or 15 times. That's not bad for a week. But it's one of those pictures that. Now this is strange. We did the picture. We thought it was going to be okay, and it was marvelous the way it was. Did you see it and then buy the CD of it? Almost everybody did. It's a picture you can show anybody, any age, and it's fun. And it's the way we used to make pictures, and we've lost that ability. Because you think you're going to see something lewd. You think you're going to see nudity. You don't see any of this, but you swear you've seen it. Yeah, it really worked. I have never seen anyone that saw it that didn't like it. It made a lot of money. We spent a lot of money
to make it.
I'm sorry? I guess so, yeah. It was fun to be in it. Actually, I played, like I said, Three Finger Jack. Well, Three Finger was the only character that actually existed at one time in history. And, of course, he was a thug, and it caught that was casting for me. And she was perfect.
You were perfect for that role.
Well, it was great fun. So, did we cover enough of Zorro for you?
Yeah, I think we got Zorro, don't we?
All right. I'll tell you what.
Campbell. I'll think of his last name. It's because of him that it is as good as it is. He really studied what we wanted to do and how you do it, and then did it. It's hard to do. It was very expensive to make the picture. And he was having a little trouble with the studio, but they finally shut up and let him alone, and it came out good. He did another picture right after it that was very good, too. This is one of the dolls. She is not, she's not quite as pretty as she was in the picture. Who could be? Because the cameraman loved her. But let me tell you, she is an army brat, and you don't want to get her upset. She'll curl your ears with what she has to say. And I know because we had adjoining dressing rooms, and we'd sit there and talk by the hour, and she'll roast your ears if you wander astray with your conversation. So, but it is, and it was great fun. I thought it was going to change the business. I was in a picture that did change the business called The Wild Bunch. And we started it up the path of extreme violence. And we thought that Mask was going to bring it down the other way. It made an attempt, but it didn't pull it off quite. People are still making The Wild Bunch saying, oh, it's just action. Anybody can do that. Well, each character was integral to the action that Sam put on it. If you don't do that, you just have action for action's sake, and it's no good. But
yeah, it's a great film.
It's really, truly good. I don't know whether you can call it great or not.
I consider it great. But
well, we can all call it what we like. It's a hell of an effort, and Sam made a hell of a job of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's going to be with us forever. That, and we made Ride the High Country, which is
that's one of my favorite films.
Which is probably the greatest Saturday afternoon, hold your girl's hand, eat popcorn movie ever made.
Well, you worked with Jim Drury on that. And
yeah,
Warren
Jim
Oates.
and I did 70 of the Virginians, and we worked together on that picture. A couple of others before he got to do the Virginia.
Would you all mention Mariette Hartley?
Oh, that bless her little heart. That's one of the sweethearts of the world.
Uh-huh.
I got so sick. I got to tell you a real quick story. Well, at the airport, she came in at the airport one day, and the lady said, "You look like Mariette Hartley." She said, "It's a good thing because I am." But anyway, we got to say goodbye and let you go because they are calling for you, sir.
That's the police that are calling for me.
That you are important, and we got to let you go.
This is a legendary actor.
All right.
Let me tell you something. Thank you very much. And are we still on? Can we? Okay. To the people who are watching, thank you very much. We've enjoyed doing what we could for you. If you have a chance, come out and see us. We'll be here until through tomorrow, through Sunday, and we'd be glad to see you. They're doing a heck of a job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we all covered? Can we sign
we'll be
up?
back.
Good man. You bet. We'll keep talking till right there. Okay.
Right.
Till we meet again, good luck, God bless, and we'll see you at the Crossroads. Let's go then.